Years, we have let down those of our society members who are mentally challenged, all the way from being ignored by society, stigmatized in a manner that is not befitting of human treatment.
I can see that we have an extremely strong team, and you will be able to chart the way through to make this thing happen. We have a premier mental institution in the region that everybody looks to. And I can't end my speech without talking about my passion, which is to promote research in this field so that it becomes not only a referral hospital, but also a specialist research hospital on issues mental.
The sky is the limit for us if we work together. Our assurance is that in terms of support from the ministry, you can count on us.
Sentiments echoed by the new board chairman in appreciation of the huge task bestowed on them.
Even if the mandate is to build the foundation so that others can come and build the walls and the roof, we will deliver on this mandate. We are passionate, we are determined, and we are going to do the job. I have had conversations with some of the team here already, and there are people who are raring to go. They're just waiting to be released to start doing great things for mental health.
The board will also work with universities across the world in research and promote recovery of patients with dignity. The CS called on other stakeholders to come forward and join this noble cause towards a better mental health state. The hospital will in the near future be relocated to a 200-acre land in Karen. Yusuf Farah, Channel 1 News.
And the burial of Matungu Member of Parliament Justice Murunga has temporarily been halted by the High Court after a woman moved to court claiming to have sired 2 children, with him requesting to be involved in his burial. Meanwhile, 4 more people suspected to be part of a child trafficking syndicate were arraigned in court. This brings to 7 those arrested for allegedly being part of a child trafficking ring within Nairobi, whose operations were exposed in an investigative story by an international media house.
The 7 suspects believed to be part of a child trafficking gang will remain in police custody until Monday, when the case will be mentioned. Among the 4 new suspects presented in court on Thursday include 3 officers working at the Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital, namely Juliana Mbeteki Mwele, Beatrice Njambi Njoroge, and Selena Awor Adundo. The 4th suspect, Musa Mohammed, is the Deputy Director, Medical Services, Nairobi Metropolitan Services. Senior Principal Magistrate Bernard Ochui ordered the 7 to remain in custody at the Kileleshwa Police Station to allow the Office of the Director of Criminal Investigations conclude investigations. Separately, the court has temporarily stopped the burial of Matungu MP Justice Murunga, who died on the 14th of November en route to hospital. This is after a woman identified as Agnes Wangui moved to court alleging she had sired 2 children with the legislator. She wants the court to undertake a DNA analysis to ascertain their paternity and her children allowed to take part in his funeral. The burial process has been stopped until the DNA samples from the MP are analyzed to ascertain the paternity of her children.
We have served the 2 respondents who are the wives of the co-wives of the wives of Mheshimiwa. We have served the mortuary, funeral mortuary, that the body cannot live there.
Finally, the case against former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero seeking to have the anti-corruption court quash orders of a lower court requiring him to plea to fresh charges of conspiring to defraud the county 58 million shillings will be heard next year. This is after Justice James Wakiaga said the ruling will be delivered on the 28th of January 2021. For Channel 1 News, I'm Serafina Robbie.
You're watching Business Insight. We still have a lot more in store for you, but for now we're taking a break and then we are back.
Next on.
I was approached by Equity Bank to come on board and see what we could do to ensure the healthcare worker was protected.
$12 million cash
city's leadership and the founders.
You just showed me the bones of a covert fascist state.
I will tell you everything you want to know about the trial.
DA's office doesn't comment on unsubstantiated accusations.
This is tyranny. When you see it, you're obligated to yell.
Wherever you are!
We made things that I myself would comfortably wear to look after patients that have COVID. It's something that really Kenyans should be proud of.
Ni mimi. Ulitoa pikipiki? Mlitani sitaomoka. Ni yako. Hii nduti ni yangu. Niliwahi pale Quickbit. Quickbit? Quickbit imekuja kusaidia wananchi kama sisi. Nilinunua 399 shillings. Juu nilikuwa the lowest unique bidder. 399 shillings. Quickbit shilingi moja unaweza nunua free. Shilingi mbili unaweza nunua microwave. Shilingi tano unaweza nunua hata gari. So tupeleke huko hata mtu aende huko.
Jiunga na Quickbit ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bidi yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bidi yako pia kwenye www.quickbit.co.ke. Kumbuka, bidi ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. Quickbit, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more. Like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted and always remember to taste the simple joys. Enjoy the magic of Christmas with Coca-Cola.
When COVID struck, the healthcare giver was becoming the first line defense. After the public health measures had been overwhelmed, I was approached by Equity Bank to come on board and see what we could do to ensure the healthcare worker was protected to look after the Kenyans. We said, let us sit down and go through virtually everything that was available. What had been made locally was not fit for purpose. Most of what we were getting to see that was fit for purpose was imported. So we asked ourselves, as the supply chain gets strained because the world was in limbo with the long supply lines, what do we do to ensure that when we ask for these supplies as healthcare workers looking after fellow Kenyans, we can have access to them? We were able to have a symposium with over 100 local manufacturers, assisted through the Equity Group, to discuss manufacturing with the specifications that were desired. We suddenly had things being made locally here, whereby we could walk to the factory, have a discussion on why this is not right, on how to improve. And I'm grateful also for the team of the specialist nurses and clinical officers, because we would make many journeys to these companies to have a look at the material, to have a look at the production. We made things that I myself would comfortably wear to look after patients that have COVID. That to me, it's something that really Kenyans should be proud of.
Hey, holidays. What a time. Ever just look. Hey, Daddy. Hey, I tell you. Drama lives here. How am I, Junior? You never know what they're learning.
Choose DSTV for only 3,999 Kenya shillings. Includes HD decoder and dish kit. Whatever your Christmas, it's your moment. And this festive season, itakuwa nzuri zaidi.
On the next episode of
Angalieni mimi umri wangu. Hebu niangalie. Umri wangu sijakuwa.
Nakwambia yani huyo mgeo hana nia ya ndoa yenu. Watakunyonya mpaka wakufilisi.
Welcome back. Murang'a County government has embarked on a fumigation exercise targeting all public places in a bid to curb the spread of coronavirus. Meanwhile, Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata says there is a drop in crime rates within the region, attributing it to the empowerment of youth through the Kazim Tani project. More details next in our County Braves.
Security operators in Mombasa County are reporting a significant drop in criminal activities across the county. This even as the Regional Commissioner highlighted that criminal gangs, violent extremism as well as the use of drug remains a threat to security.
Katika ile kazi mtaani imeweza kuwasaidia vijana wengi kupata mapato ya kuwawezesha kuishi maisha yao, na kama ilikuwa ni matatizo ya kukosa pesa ambayo ilikuwa inawafanya waumize wananchi, sasa tatizo hilo halipo kwa sababu wanalipwa kila wiki.
Meanwhile, the county government of Murang'a has embarked on a fumigation exercise of public places. The exercise targets to fumigate areas with high population, including urban centres, markets and matatu termini.
We are launching a fumigation exercise across Murang'a County, which will go on for 3 months. And the reason why we have decided to fumigation because we have realized that cases of COVID are really going up.
Elsewhere, a family in Langa's estate is in despair following the alleged abduction of 3 siblings in Eldoret town 4 days ago. According to the family, 3 siblings finished shopping when the alleged armed abductors forced them to get into a car.
Hiyo bila walienda tu kununulia mimi dawa na kufanya shopping kidogo. Ilikuwa birthday yangu siku hiyo. Sasa kutoka siku hiyo mpaka leo sijaona watoto yangu. Sijui bali wako. Nimewatafuta kila mahali siwaoni.
And a somber mood has engulfed Mokomoni village, Manga sub-county, Nyamira County, after a 40-year-old woman was allegedly lynched by her brothers-in-law due to suspicion that she had stolen 5,000 shillings from her mother-in-law. 14 houses were also set ablaze and property worth thousands of shillings reduced to ashes.
Kulingana na vile Banaka alisema ni kwamba walienda kwa uganga, wakawaambia ni huyo pipi alichukua hizo pesa, zilikuwa 5,000 pesa ya bonus ya mama mother-in-law. Ndio akachukua sasa kwa sababu walikuwa.
Meanwhile, county governors have been challenged to subject themselves to a peer review assessment for the development of the counties. APRM Director Elias Mbao stated that the process was an important framework for good governance in Africa aimed at championing transformative leadership.
The government to ensure or to undertake county peer review mechanisms at the county level, just like our president gets reviewed by his peer heads of state.
Finally, Nyandarua County Executive Committee member for Roads Mary Mugwanje has appealed to the national government to allocate funds to tarmac an additional 300 kilometers of road in the county to ease transportation challenges faced by the residents.
Be able to give us 300 additional kilometers. It means we'll have a total of 1,000 kilometers within 3 years.
Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
Well, imagine seeking medical assistance for 13 years at various health facilities only to be told that your abdominal swelling for the last 13 years has been a stone baby. This is the reality that met Hawa Adan, an Ethiopian national who presented herself to Mandera County Referral Hospital and got diagnosed with a medical condition known as lithopedion. This condition occurs when a fetus that grows outside the uterus dies and is too large to be reabsorbed by the mother's body. It can remain in its mother's body for the rest of our life if undetected. We caution viewers to exercise discretion as some of the footage in this story may be unpleasant.
At the heart of Mandera County Referral Hospital, a team of 9 surgeons and gynecologists converged at the theatre to carry out a 1.5-hour procedure. The case at hand is a lithopedion operation, the first ever in Eastern Central Africa. The reported cases for the condition in the entire world is 300, and there have been no reported cases in Eastern Central Africa previously. For 13 years, Hawa Aden lived a normal, healthy life with no symptoms, no pain, and no obstruction in her bowel, only the swelling. She had sought medical opinion for years but never got the proper diagnosis. In September, she visited Mandera County Referral Hospital. After intensive investigations, including a CT scan, she was diagnosed with lithopedion, a Greek word for stone baby.
She conceived this 13 years ago, but all of a sudden the symptoms of pregnancy disappeared, and she has been carrying this baby 13 years in that womb. Fortunately, we were able to catch her up in one of the routine surgical clinics. We did investigations, we did CT scan, ultrasound, and we did x-rays, and we managed to diagnose her with lithopedion. This is a baby who weighs about, it's not a live baby, it's a stone baby, died long time ago.
The rare condition occurs most commonly when a fetus dies during an abdominal pregnancy, is too large to be reabsorbed by the body and calcifies on the outside as part of the foreign body reaction, shielding the mother's body from the dead tissue of the fetus and preventing infection.
It's a very rare condition. The baby was lying in the womb, in the abdomen, not in the womb. It was between the anterior abdominal wall and the mesentery of the small intestine, particularly the ileum. That's where it has been, but it was calcified, dead but calcified.
The operation was successful, with Aiden delivering the stone baby. She is now recuperating at the surgical unit of the hospital. The stone baby was a male infant, complete with a placenta and cord, weighing 1.75 kilograms.
Baby, about 1.75 kgs. This is the head, this is the placenta behind it. These are the limbs, the four limbs or the hands, and these are the lower limbs. And that is like a complete baby, but with what we are calling a stone baby.
Prior to her 13-year-old condition, Aiden carried 2 babies to full term previously, but lost them both 1 month after delivery. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
Man, oh man, quite scary there, but thank God she's alive and she'll tell the story. The Kenya Film Commission has partnered with Password Ventures Limited to screen the feature film 40 Stakes on Thursday prior to the worldwide release via Netflix on Friday, 20th November 2020. 40 Stakes is a thriller film directed by Victor Gatonye, where a group of prisoners trapped in a crushed prison bars strive to stay alive on realizing a mysterious killer lurking in the shadows. A Kenyan Film Commission manager, Evans Osewe, who represented the CEO, noted that the Kenyan film industry has come of age with recent acquisition of Kenyan films by global streaming giant Netflix. The Commission has also lined up more local productions for release. 40 Stakes was produced by Fakir Liwali, Betty Mutua and Sarah Hassan under Sense Play, the audiovisual arm of Password Ventures Limited.
Mandated to develop, promote and to market a vibrant local film industry basically, and we're excited to see local films coming up, and especially this specific one that is 100% cast and crew that are Kenyan, done on Kenyan locations. The entire set is ours. We are happy that Netflix has recognized and appreciated the quality of the local productions, and we'll still collaborate and encourage and even position the country for more selections of productions to appear on Netflix.
The theme behind 40 Sticks is actually, it's a freedom story, because basically every character in the film is trying to run away from something, from their past, to try and build a new future. So it's a story of freedom.
Well, you love fish? I know you do. More fish is on the way coming. This is Business Insight. We are live from Broadcasting House. Obrien Kimani is my Twitter handle, at KBC Channel 1. A short break is up, and then we are back shortly.
mulitani sitaomoka. Ni yako. Hii nduti ni yangu. Niliwahi pale Quickbit. Quickbit? Quickbit imekuja kusaidia wananchi kama sisi. Nilinunua 399 shillings. Juu nilikuwa the lowest unique bidder. 399 shillings. Quickbit shilingi moja unaweza nunua free. Shilingi mbili unaweza nunua micro. Shilingi tano unaweza nunua hata gari. So tupeleke huko hata mtu aende huko.
Jiunga na Quickbit ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bidi yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bidi yako pia kwenye www.quickbit.co.ke. Kumbuka, bidi ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio ununua. Quickbit, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Next on.
I was approached by Equity Bank to come on board and see what we could do to ensure the healthcare worker was protected.
Andrea couldn't have written this. This is impossible.
Didn't you say that that's her handwriting?
Yes. I'll make sure she doesn't leave that place alive.
My love.
We made things that I myself would comfortably wear to look after patients that have COVID. It's something that really Kenyans should be proud of.
Next on.
Save those tears. Get out of my face before I call the police. She's my baby.
Glenn, uko fit? Wafanya kazi yako, acha maswali.
And if Nancy and Dad are found guilty, they'll be put to jail.
So what do you want, Tiffany?
I want us to stick together and be free.
I want you to get close to Glenn. Nikuspaya bro yako. Just lead him on.
So that's it. You're just gonna go off to abroad?
I can't win this fight. Can't win against Dad. Can't win against Nancy. I can't win against Mama Paul. This is not my fight.
Jumapili hii kwenye runinga ya KBC, ungana naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu kuanzia saa 1 hadi saa 2 asubuhi.
Ningetaka nikwambie, our Jehovah God, because the Bible says he is the same yesterday, today and forevermore. He is able to take you to a place of abundance. He is able to take you to Rehoboth in the name of Jesus Christ.
Kipindi ni neno la neema, ukiletewa naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu. Usikose.
My trust is in you.
Time to get business. The Industrialization and Trade Ministry is implementing a number of initiatives that would expand Kenya's manufacturing capacity to meet local demand for goods by the year 2030. The ministry is supporting local manufacturers to increase output as well as pushing the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya narrative to increase uptake of locally made goods. Manufacturers, however, say the high cost of electricity remains a risk to the achievement of this dream.
The COVID-19 pandemic exposed Kenya's overdependence on imports and shook up the local manufacturing sector to produce materials needed in the fight for COVID-19. There was a concerted pressure from the government and buyers for local manufacturers to start producing face masks, protective clothing, ventilators, hospital beds and other equipment designed to protect wearers from infection. This has powered Kenya's manufacturing agenda, with the Industrialization and Trade Ministry targeting to expand Kenya's manufacturing capacity to meet local demand for goods by the year 2030.
Our mission as a ministry to ensure that we have done sufficient or enough manufacturing or industrialization to meet our local demand, so that we can substitute the imports with locally manufactured items. That is our target.
Government officials plan to step up the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya campaigns, calling on Kenyans to consume more locally manufactured goods, even as they assure the public that quality of locally made products is up to par with imports.
If you produce this, you are not going to face unfair competition from imports. And since we cannot ban importation 100%, government has the capacity to say, I, as a consumer, I'll not buy an imported product.
The way we design our products, the way we manufacture our product, the process, the quality of our devices, we believe they are better than even the imported gadgets. Because one of the things that I'm sure, no Kenyan will buy a device that is Kenyan just because it's Kenyan, but it's not of good quality.
Manufacturers are, however, cautioning that this could be a pipe dream if the cost of electricity is not reduced.
Support the manufacturing is one main point. In the first place, you have one main challenge is power. When the power bills comes down, definitely we can make profits.
Betty Kiptum, Channel 1 Business.
Well, the government plans to train 10,000 fish extension officers that will be deployed to the counties to train fish farmers. This is part of a 15 billion shillings aquaculture business development program that targets 24 counties. The investment will include modern aquaponic kits and new hatchery techniques that are expected to improve fish quality and production in the country.
In Kenya, pond-based aquaculture production has registered depressed performance in the last 10 years for the third consecutive year, with the total fish production declining by 34% from 18,656 tons in 2015 to 12,356 tons in 2017. This is due to unsuitable initial designs of the system, poor management due to lack of skilled people, and high mechanical maintenance costs.
We are training the farmers to come up with formulations of ingredients which are locally available, which are practical, which means the farmers are able to make cheap feeds or cheap efficient feeds locally.
The government plans to train fish farmers on new farming techniques. Part of the plan is to introduce a recirculating aquaculture system that halves fish maturity period from 8 to 4 months, thus enabling the farm to meet its market demands besides improving food security. The average weight of tilapia fish grown in ponds at 1 year is 300 grams. Using RAS technology, the government says fish weighs 400 to 500 grams at 4 months, thus fetching better prices. The Aquaculture Business Development Program is meant to bridge the gap that exists in fish production in the country, which stands at 170,000 metric tons with a deficit of 350,000 tons annually.
In each county, we have trained 20 training of trainers. So we expect these trainers now to go down to the counties and train the farmers, the groups that all are doing anything to do with aquaculture, and that way aquaculture will be implemented in the counties.
The Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute says aquaculture, which is a climate-smart technology, will go a long way in transforming livelihoods.
Elsewhere, Cooperative Bank made 9.8 billion shillings in net profit during the first 9 months of this year, representing a 10% reduction, which the lender blames on increased COVID-19 related loan loss provisions. Cooperative Bank booked a 90% increase in loan loss provision from 2.1 billion shillings in 2019 to 4 billion shillings.
Confirmation of the first coronavirus case, so the government recommends social distancing and work from home for non-essential workers. This affected income generation that saw the central bank, among others, recommend that commercial banks allow borrowers facing difficulties in repaying their loans to restructure them. This has come to haunt banks that have been reporting steady increases in non-performing loans that has affected profits. ABSA saw its Q3 profit plunge 65%. KCB reported a 43% dip in profit, while Equity Bank saw profits reduce 14%. Cooperative Bank, which released its Q3 results Thursday, says net profit reduced 10% to 9.8 billion shillings on account of increased COVID-19 related loan loss provisions. Group CEO in pandemic, the group has taken a 90% increase in loan loss provision from 2.1 billion shillings in 2019 to 4 billion shillings. As at the close of the third quarter, a total of 46 billion shillings in loans have been restructured to support customers impacted by the pandemic. The bank says fortification of digital channels to support uninterrupted access to banking services by customers continues, with over 90% of services now on alternative banking channels. Total assets in the period under review grew by 70.1 billion shillings to 510.9 billion shillings, while net loans and advances rose by 15.4 billion shillings to 284.2 billion shillings. The lender subsidiary, Cooperative Bank of South Sudan, made a pre-tax profit of 217.8 million shillings. Betty Kiptum, Channel 1 Business.
Well, the success of cooperatives at the county level is vital for the economic health of households. Development partners say most people can be financially empowered if they are given financial management skills. Capacity building programs at the counties have so far helped county cooperatives withstand the adverse effect of financial disruptions. Here is Alan Auko with more details.
Hello and welcome. This is Business Insight, and what a show we have for you today. My name is Alan Auko. We want to talk cooperatives today. We want to talk cooperative movements. We want to talk about policy and frameworks that govern this cooperative movement. And with us on set today, we have three guests. We have Jacqueline Mugeni, who is the CEO of the Council of Governors. And we also have Edna Munyi, who is the Director Executive of Education at the Strathmore University Business School. And we also have with us Olga Oyer, who is the Country Team Lead, USAID CLEAR Program. Welcome to the program, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I'd like to start with Jacqueline Mugeni. And Madam Jacqueline, you are an advocate of the High Court, and you have a background of human rights. Perhaps you can warm this conversation for us and tell us, how does the cooperative movement affect the end user, the person on the ground? Why is it important for us to have a streamlined cooperative movement for membership?
Okay, thank you very much, Alan. As you said, I work at the council, and our role is to ensure that the functions that were devolved to the counties really find a home within the counties, and one of these functions is cooperatives. Cooperatives are fully devolved function, and it's not a new issue in Kenya. It's actually very old. The asset base for cooperatives in Kenya is about $5 billion. You can imagine, and the people in the grassroots are the ones who deposit in the cooperatives, and they use it to grow cottage industries. They are small businesses, and so it's very, very important that it's managed well. So we don't run into problems like the pyramid schemes that we saw in Kenya, because these are, I don't want to call people in the urban rural areas poor. They are not poor people, but they need a vehicle that does not cheat them out of their hard-earned resources.
We have to now bring in development partners to help us streamline this sector.
When you say bring in, it sounds like we were stuck. It's really not that. As governments, we like partnerships, because we know that, as the saying goes, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. So actually, it's bringing the partnerships that we are developing with development partners is to help us strengthen our cooperative movement in Kenya. And maybe I need to tell you, Alan, that there are many countries who come to learn from Kenya on our cooperatives. For example, Rwanda has come and learned from Kenya on our cooperatives and gone and replicated what we are doing in Kenya, and they're doing very well. And so our coming together development partners is about strengthening so that we can be able to go far. You've heard about our asset base. You've heard about what the rural investors are doing. And so if this is the vehicle that the rural investors have chosen to do, it's important that it's managed well. The success of the cooperative bank stems from the smallest cooperatives that we started in this country. The investors within the counties find it easy to use the cooperatives because they also have less stringent rules like the ones for the banks. So yes, we are partnering with development partners to help us go far, not that we are stuck. Thank you.
Indeed, that's very encouraging, especially when you say that there's still a lot of potential in the grassroots that perhaps many people have overlooked. And maybe a viewer out there is wondering, why is Strathmore Business School even here at all? Perhaps, Edna Muni, maybe you can, warm us up into the conversation. Why is Strathmore Business School here, and why do we need this capacity building in the first place?
Okay, thank you, Alan. Strathmore Business School Executive Education Department, we are tasked with the responsibility of organizational learning and development. And we focus in several major areas. So we look at leadership and management, we look at public policy, we look at healthcare, we look at agribusiness, corporate governance, and we also look at entrepreneurship. And so these particular programs are designed such that you can have them as an open program, meaning that they are tailored and you buy them off the shelf. And so you will have participants coming from various companies, various industries, and being in the class. Or they can be customized to meet the needs of a particular organization or a particular institution. So the Strathmore University Business School is here because over time, since the beginning of the institution in 2005, we have developed capacity to deliver programs both locally in Kenya as well as other countries where we have physical footprint, that is Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda, as well as other places where we don't have a physical footprint, but we're able to provide programs digitally, such as South Africa, Mauritius, Botswana, Ghana, and many other countries.
And you mentioned about 40 trainees successfully graduated with a certificate in public policy making processes. And this now brings me to development partners who have reach across the world. And I'll ask Olga, tell us, since your organization has been all over the world, do you think in this particular case in Kenya, when it comes to cooperative policy and legislative and regulatory framework, have you seen issues of redundancies? Because we find sometimes some laws are either too redundant or one isn't clear enough. What are some of those rough edges this kind of program brings into the policy framework that we already have?
Thank you, Alad. Let me start off by just giving a small context. So global communities in Kenya is implementing the Cooperatives Leadership, Engagement, Advocacy and Research Program. It's funded by USAID, and its lifespan is from 2018 to 2023. I say that deliberately because I do appreciate that as development partners with the programs that we come on board with, they have a lifeline, yes? And in this case, our lifeline is 5 years. And so through we walked this journey and did our baseline survey with 30 counties. 22 counties responded, and we identified certain skill gaps because we were curious to establish why, after beginning the devolved system of government in 2013, come 2019, when we carried out the baseline survey, there were very few counties that had their county-specific cooperatives legislation in place. And when we did this baseline survey, we found that there were actual skill gaps in terms of understanding this role. My role as a policy maker at the county level, what does it mean to create an enabling environment for cooperatives to thrive?
When it comes to matters of policy and making a regulatory framework, it does indeed take time. And this is where now I bring in Madam Mogeni. According to a survey, by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, which was released early this year, it indicates that approximately 400,000 micro, small, and medium enterprises do not even celebrate their second birthday. And this comes when many of the members of cooperatives pool their money into cooperatives to run their businesses, and we still have a situation where businesses are going down either because of lack of skills, inadequate knowledge. So my question is this: are we going to look into a situation where in the county level, I have a small business and I do not have that technical know-how, but I have an idea? Can I come into the nearest county office and get the advice that I require?
Thank you very much, Alan. At the council, we have Marifa Center, which is our knowledge, our best practice center. It actually documents best practices, innovations, and you can access it both virtually and physically. And one of the things that center does is to give information on if you want to, like for example, the issue of cooperatives. I'm sure that if you went to the best practice center, you can be able to see how little cooperatives have started. It's been innovated, it has been incubated, and it's grown. So we encourage peer-to-peer learning at the grassroots level from the communities, but also the governors. They go to other counties to learn. And documenting that process helps us to, and we don't document just best practices alone. We also document bad practices, or even bad practices where cooperatives are started today, tomorrow they are dead, so that people don't go through the same way. Our responsibility as the institution charged with the mandate of ensuring we protect the best interest of all the 47 counties is to ensure that we do not have the country littered with cooperatives that have come up and died. But that takes me to my other point, that we also partner with the national government. As we speak now, the National Task Force for Implementation of the Cooperatives Policy, I don't know that it was gazetted yesterday, it will be gazetted by Friday, and the council is part of that particular task force. And the task force role is to ensure that the cooperatives thrive in this country at whatever level, be they cooperatives of boda bodas, cooperatives of mama mboga. And so it's a journey. We will go walk with them slowly so that they can be able to learn. It's good to have the papers, but most importantly, it's good to have the skills that are ingrained so that the cooperatives that are started by women, by the youth, do not collapse on day two because they've lacked skills. Thank you.
The Deloitte Kenya Economic Outlook a few years back said that one of the challenges that we face in almost every sector when it deals with money is the risk management strategies that are, some are collapsing or they are not really streamlined. But this is a conversation that is so interesting, but we are running out of time. However, it's only fair that we have a round of a last word, that word that you'd like Kenyans to know about the sector. Maybe we can start with Olga. Olga, tell us your last word.
Thank you. Thank you, Alan, for that. So maybe as a parting shot, what I can say is, yes, there is hope. And we have, as a program, we have a sub-award with USIU Africa. So there is hope. And Alan, back to your comment, no, our support is not a one-off. We are here for the long haul, and we are also working to create, through the Kenya Cooperatives, Cooperative Development Organizations platform, we are creating systems and networks to continue supporting the movement, even post-program completion. So I would like to just encourage, other institutions, even as they within the cooperative movement, that really the call is to harmonize our policy and legislative environment to create an enabling environment for our cooperators and also to improve the livelihoods of Kenyans. Thank you, Alan.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. And now, Director Munyi.
Thank you, Alan. My parting shot is we are really grateful for the opportunity to partner with USAID and global communities. And this speaks to what we can be able to achieve in terms of partnerships when we partner between the government, whether it's the national government and the county governments, development partners, and academia. This means that we can be able to create a very strong partnership that can support our nation in growing and even becoming stronger than we are right now. Whether they're in our counties or in other counties, because I'm sure we have friends who are in other counties. And even as we work with the Council of Governors to do training of trainers, so that then we can extend the lifeline. Again, we still will not be able to train everybody. So my appeal to those who are attending classes is that can we see how we can multiply knowledge to those that have not been able to attend the classes. Let us build a strong cooperative movement. Let us bring inclusion of the youth and women, and let us reduce inequalities and position Kenya as a global player that it is. So thank you so much, Alan. Much appreciated.
Indeed, thank you very much. Very passionate there. And last but not least, Madam again.
Yes, thank you very much, Alan. And I will just echo what my colleagues have said. We know that programs have a lifeline, but government doesn't have a lifeline. So whatever has been injected into government is there in perpetuity. So there is hope. The asset base is huge. All we need to do is to tap it, and most importantly, to remove any politics in the cooperatives movement, because it's for the mwananchi. Let the mwananchi be on the driver's seat, and ourselves as governments is to create an enabling environment. And so that is what we are doing, and I would encourage all citizens, if they can, get into the cooperatives movement, because it helps during this COVID season. A lot of people have been able to bounce back. You will be able to bounce back. So just get into cooperatives movement. Start slowly, you will grow. So thank you very much.
Indeed, that's a very interesting clarion call there. We have been speaking to Jacqueline Mugeni, who is the CEO of the Council of Governors, and as well as Eda Muni, who is the Director Executive Education at Strathmore Business School, and also Olga Oyer, who is the Country Team Lead USAID Clear Program. Thank you very much. That has been our time, and we hope you have been impacted and that you have got something from this conversation. My name is Alan Auko. Have a nice time.
Thank you.
Alan Alcothe highlighting the importance of SMEs in Kenya. A section of cane farmers from Western and Nyanza sugar belt are calling on the government to initiate talks for an extension of the COMESA safeguards on sugar, but limit imports to a maximum of 350,000 tons annually. Led by Kenya National Alliance of Sugarcane Farmers, they argue that farmers stand to lose to unfair foreign competition after the current COMESA safeguards on sugar expires in 3 months if there is no extension.
Sugar production costs in Kenya is estimated at more than 60,000 shillings per metric ton, which is twice that of other key sugar-producing countries in the COMESA trading bloc. This makes Kenya's produce uncompetitive in the export market. And now, if the moratorium on sugar from COMESA is not extended, the Kenya National Alliance of Sugarcane Farmers say Kenya is likely to be flooded by sugar that could cost 40% less than the locally produced sugar.
If the sugar that comes from out now has to come without any restrictions, it means in the end there will be no production and there will not be safeguards for farmers. The prices of sugar will be depressed and the sugar industry definitely will be killed.
Kenya was first handed the COMESA safeguards on sugar in 2002, allowing Kenya to import up to 350,000 metric tons annually from COMESA member states to bridge the deficit.
Sisi wenyewe Kenya iko na high cost of sugarcane production ya wakulima yani ya miwa Kenya iko juu sana ukikombea na nchi zingine duniani. Kenya haijakuwa tayari, hata research yenyewe hajaweza kuifanya kamili ya kuweza kuwezesha sisi wakulima kuweza kufanya competition na COMESA.
Kenya got a 12-month extension last year and is set to expire in February 2021 in what farmers say will risk reverting the gains made by the government on reviving the sugar subsector. Alan Aoko, Channel 1 Business.
Earnings from horticulture rose 8.6% in the 10 months to October, boosted by high demand in Europe and Asia. Data from the Horticulture Directorate says revenue jumped to 126 billion shillings from 116 billion shillings a similar period in 2019. However, export volumes fell by 6% to 263 million kilograms due to disruptions caused by COVID-19 pandemic. The global horticulture industry has gone through a painful phase this year, where 70% of traders are expecting a significant drop in earnings, rattled by slow demand due to COVID-19 pandemic. The International Association of Horticultural Producers indicate that the market was valued at 28 trillion shillings, but this year they expect the market value to drop. However, the Kenyan exporters have been spared, with earnings rising by 8.6% in the months to October this year. The Horticulture Directorate says fruit export earnings rose to 17 billion shillings from 11 billion shillings in 2019. In April this year, the world's largest flower market in Amsterdam was closed in a bid to curb the spread of COVID-19. This impacted Kenyan flower exporters adversely, as the Netherlands is Kenya's biggest export market for flowers. Flowers, which account for the largest portion of income from horticulture exports, fetched 90 billion shillings as demand peaked following the reopening of many economies in Europe. The Directorate says it does not expect full-year results to change in the face of the second wave of the coronavirus that has led to the closure of some economies in key markets in Europe and the United States. During the first 10 months of this year, vegetable earnings fell to 19 billion shillings from 21 billion shillings. The Directorate is worried that the second wave is likely to lead to reduced demand, especially during the Christmas season. A combination of good rainfall and vegetation in recent years at the Amboseli National Park has resulted in more than 200 elephant calves, which is a new spectacle in the Amboseli ecosystem. The boom in elephant calves is also tied to ecological changes, as Irene Muchuma highlights tonight.
Amboseli National Park in Kajiado County is experiencing magical elephant calf boom. The 39,000 hectares park on the foot of Mount Kilimanjaro has recorded more than 200 calves this year and counting. Environmentalists attribute this to good rains over the last 2 years. In 2019, the region reportedly recorded higher than normal rains after years of severe drought. For elephants, more rain means more vegetation and more grazing and reduced deaths due to dehydration and starvation. Conservationists say the elephant population in Kenya has increased from 16,000 in 1989 to 34,000 in 2020. An encouraging statistics not only worth your visit to Amboseli, but also worth your energy, money, and of great benefit to nature lovers and students interested on zoology. Kenya has been at the forefront to tame poaching, an effort towards wildlife conservation. In 2018, 80 elephants were killed. The number dropped significantly in 2019 to 34, and in 2020, the numbers are very promising.
Beautiful view of the Mount Kilimanjaro. We saw the elephants, and we saw zebras, and we saw wildebeest, saw hyenas, we saw jackals, and lots of birds, and we saw big catfish too. So it was a wonderful time here.
I love Kenya. This is a beautiful country with wonderful, kind people, the cutest animals I've ever seen. I've decided that baby elephants are my favorite animal in the world, and I got to see lots of them today. So Kenya, amazing.
This season, answer the call of wild with Amboseli Adventure, one which is rich in undiscovered experiences and some truly unforgettable moments. Irene Mchuma Udim, Magical Scenes in the county of Kajiado.
Time now for international business news. U.S. safety regulators have cleared Boeing's 737 MAX planes to fly again, lifting grounding orders put in place in March this year after 2 deadly crashes. It marks a milestone for Boeing, which was thrust into crisis by the tragedies that investigations attributed to company's failure. Boeing's financial woes deepened this year as air travel slowed due to the virus. Here are the details.
The Boeing 737 MAX received approval from the Federal Aviation Administration to re-enter commercial services. The move will allow airlines that are under the Federal Aviation Administration jurisdiction, including those in the United States, to take the steps necessary to resume the plane and Boeing to begin making deliveries. The Federal Aviation Administration required that before planes of the series could fly again, all software and training programs must be upgraded. Throughout the past 20 months, Boeing has worked closely with airlines, providing them with detailed recommendations regarding long-term storage and ensuring their inputs was part of the effort to safely return their airplanes to services. In addition to changes made to the airplane and pilot training, Boeing said it has taken important steps to strengthen its focus on safety and quality. Meanwhile, flights between Tunisia and Libya have resumed after being halted for 8 months due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It comes a few weeks after the two North African neighbors agreed to reopen their land and air borders. The Tunis Carthage Airport Authority has put in place a strict health protocol as it received more travelers transiting through Tunisia's main airport. All Tunisian and Libyan travelers must comply with the new safety measures. The Ras Jadir border crossing between Tunisia and Libya also reopened for travelers in both directions after a closure of 8 months. Experts believe the resumption of flights will boost the economy in the two North African countries. Finally, the data shows Japan's exports extended declines in October, but at the slowest pace in almost 2 years at 0.2%. The data contradicted economists' median estimate of 4.5% decrease in exports. The export volume dropped to $63.2 billion, mainly due to a plunge in exports of fossil fuels, vessels and steel. The report also noted that Japan's exports to China increased by 10.2% year-on-year due to the sustained and stable recovery of China's economy, showing 4 months of consecutive growth.
On the next episode of Corner.
If you let people walk all over you, they're going to do the same thing to this gym. What you need to know that is this place isn't turned around in a month or less. I will pay you for wasting your time.
Do you know something that I don't?
Lucky, unani avoid. Mbona?
Do we even know Jimmy hasn't confessed yet?
What makes you think that?
The 2 men I had follow Jimmy said he met with Ayura.
Siwezi nikakupa msamaha.
Mimi hata siulizi msamaha.
Wewe utaishi maisha yako yote na huo ubatili.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
You and your mouth, just too much, Zip it, will you?
Yani, I am trying to help you and now you are here to let an enemy you knew embassy.
I didn't mean it like that. I was just... Never mind.
What the hell is going on here? Junior, how dare you turn this class into a disco?
Ah, Tito, relax. You're so uptight. Fiala.
Hey, for crying out loud, the whole room reeks of your sweat.
Redis, could you be having a shada?
Who has a phone in such a way? Maybe a ginger dropper.
How will I get out of this?
Classmates, every Saturday on KBC. This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Tell me what happened. He came after me with a knife.
$12 million cash.
City's leadership and the founders. You just showed me the bones of a covert fascist state.
I will tell you everything you want to know about the trial.
DA's office doesn't comment on unsubstantiated accusations.
This is tyranny. When you see it, you're obligated to yell.
Wherever you are!
Anyone that can put an end to this now.
These guys, they're relentless. Are you sure you want this?
What do you think?
Keep your head down.
Oh my God, man!
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Wewe utoke hapa uende ukafanye vuje wa kina mami, sijui unapiga unavunja mkono. Kwa nini unafanya mambo kama jambazi bwana? Dad.
Umejuaje mambo?
Dewa here.
Je, unashida gani? Wewe unaniandama katika ofisi yangu.
Na nilikwambia kesi wachana nayo.
Hii kesi wewe inakuhusu nini? Mbona unifuatilizia sana hivi hii kesi wewe?
Yaani hapo.
Let's now have a look at sports. Kenyan Premier League side Wazito FC has unveiled Francis Kimani as their new coach ahead of the 2020-2021 Football Kenya Federation Premier League campaign. The former Harambee Stars coach takes over from Fred Ambani, who was fired alongside his technical bench that included assistant coach Salim Babu and goalkeeper trainer Elias Otieno.
Francis Kimani, who recently resigned from his role as Harambee Stars head coach, will be deputized by former Kenya under-20 coach John Kamau.
We want to bury this idea that we are a team that coaches come in and go. That is why we have farmed up on Francis Kimani, because we believe in terms of his experience and where he has come from, national team status, a team leader, we believe that he's the best person to drive the larger Wazito dream forward.
We saw the good work he did with the Madara Youth Sports Association, which today still leads in youth development programs around the country, both in players and in coaches. It's difficult to go around the country and to find 1 out of 5 players who didn't go through the Madara Youth Sports Association.
Kamau has previously handled the now defunct Thika United, Posta Rangers, KCBFC and FC Talanta. Samuel Koko has been assigned to head Wazito's goalkeeping department. Kimani, who has in the past coached KPL's big teams such as Madara United, Sofapaka FC and Tusker FC, will kick off his tenure with a league clash against Kariobangi Sharks on November 29th before playing away against Madara on December 5th.
It wasn't a new and easy decision, because it's always very difficult because of the culture of the club and what I need as an individual. But at least after 1 or 2 weeks of trying to get things together, we managed to come in, as one team in a full agreement with a common objective. It's just a simple objective whereby we want to get the team in some winning formula. So we don't know how to do it at the moment, but we'll see after we meet the players. And if we can get some feeling that we can bring some competition to win, or to be another force also in the league, is very important, to make sure at least we are capable of developing players and getting players to achieve what they want to. They have some dreams, and we can walk them through those dreams only when we are capable to do that. And I believe we have a technical bench that can get the players realize what they want to do and where they want to be.
Wazito will then take on Sofapaka on December 9th, tackle Ulinzi Stars on December 13th, and then wind up their opening 5 fixtures at the clash against KCB on December 26th. The team is aiming at performing better this season after struggling to a 13th place finish in the abandoned 2019-2020 KPL season.
10 football players have been selected to join the Under-17 national team during today's recruitment exercise carried out by the Football Kenya Federation's election committee at Mbaraki Grounds in Mombasa. The process is set to conclude on Sunday, after which the selected players will join the current Kenya Under-17 national team at camp on Tuesday next week.
The exercise, spearheaded by Kenya Under-17 head coach Oliver Page, began yesterday in Nairobi and Thika regions, with Nakuru, Kisumu and Western regions having their day on Saturday and Sunday respectively.
There has to be a pre-selection, that's one thing. Number two, therefore, we make a tournament normally with 4 teams, so we can see each player 3 times. And then I think I have some experience as I worked as a scout in the Center of Excellence from Cologne, 3 years. So I have some experience also when I worked in the Center of Excellence as sports director. I have also do squad management for under-19 Bundesliga and under-17, under-15. So I have some experience. And of course, you will normally also make some mistakes. It can happen. But if you can get out of 10 players, 7 or 8, and they work, then it's, I think, quite okay.
The FKF Chair of Youth Affairs, Chris Amimo, said the Under-17 football players selected to join the national team will also undergo a mandatory age assessment through birth document scrutiny and school documents in order to curb age fabrication among the selected players.
Talent tumeona hapa Mombasa iko equal peke yake. I think Nairobi ndio wamekaribia, but hata makocha wamesema ya kwamba wale players wameona hapa wamekuwa kiwango ya juu kuliko most of the other regions, labda tu Nairobi peke yake. So I think Mombasa, they are doing a good job here, youth development.
Okay, Mombasa kuna talent kuanzia kitambo, lakini kunacha wale watoto ndio ilikuwa shida. Nafikiria sana sana wakati events kama hizi zinatokezea, watoto wako shule hawapati nafasi, lakini pia upande mwingine kwa hii sababu ya corona imetupatia advantage, kwa sababu attendance yetu tulioita last weekend on Saturday tulipata over 200 participants. So katika 200 participants tuli shortlist tukapata 60. Na walikuwa wanataka 18 players. So leo ni challenge sana.
Coach Page is expected to select a team that will represent the country in the CECAFA Under-17 Championships to be played between December 13th and December 28th, 2020 in Rwanda. The team has been pooled in Group B and will face off against Uganda and Ethiopia in the regional showcase.
Pep Guardiola has signed a new 2-year deal that will see him remain as Manchester City manager until the summer of 2023. The 49-year-old has won 2 Premier League titles, the FA Cup and 3 League Cups since joining in 2016. The former Barcelona and Bayern Munich manager's previous deal was due to expire at the end of the season. Guardiola's current 5-year stay is already the longest commitment he has made to a team since becoming a manager in 2008. If he sees out the contract, the Spaniard will overtake Joe Merces and go second on the club's list of longest-serving post-war managers. In total, City has won 181 out of the 245 matches under Guardiola. Elsewhere, the Egyptian Football Association has confirmed that Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah has returned another positive test for coronavirus. The latest development means that the English champions will have to do with the services or without the services of Salah when they host Leicester City at Anfield. Elsewhere, world number 1 Novak Djokovic's chances of qualifying for the ATP finals took a huge hit after Serbian suffered a shock 6-3, 6-3 defeat to Daniil Medvedev in London.
Mohamed Salah, who initially tested positive for coronavirus on Friday, has missed Egypt's Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers against Togo on Saturday and Tuesday. UK government coronavirus rules dictate individuals must undergo a 10-day isolation period after a positive test. Salah is the 4th Liverpool first-team player to test positive for coronavirus this season, following Thiago Silva in September and then Sadio Mane and Shaqiri in October. Liverpool is without long-term absentees Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez, while right-back Trent Alexander-Arnold is also sidelined through injury. Captain Jordan Henderson withdrew from the England squad for the Nations League match against Iceland on Wednesday. Elsewhere, Novak Djokovic suffered a shock 6-3, 6-3 defeat to Daniil Medvedev at the ATP finals in London, a result which sent the Russian through to the semi-finals but left the world number 1's hopes of joining him in the balance.
good net play, particularly the first volley.
33-year-old Djokovic can still qualify for the last four if he wins his final round-robin match against Alexander Zverev on Friday. Djokovic came into this match having lost just 3 times in 2020 when he was defaulted at the US Open, when he was beaten by Rafael Nadal in the French Open final, and then when he was upset by Lorenzo Sonego in the quarterfinals in Vienna. He is chasing a record equaling 6 titles at the ATP finals, and although he still has a good chance of advancing, he must do it the hard way against Zverev.
Missed another. Relatively straightforward backhands.
The German earlier on boosted his own hopes with a 6-3, 4-6, 6-3 victory over Diego Schwartzman.
Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for your company. You have been with us for the last 1.5 hours. Thank you so very much indeed for your time. Remember, we always do these every Thursday right here on the KBC Channel 1. Coming up next, in about 10 or so minutes from now, we're looking at the COVID-19 vaccine on Inside Government. 3 critical developments have so far occurred on the global stage in the last 1 week. Pfizer and German company BioNTech announced that their vaccine has proven to be 95% with a 95% efficacy. Moderna has also said that their vaccine efficacy is also in the same range. Today, the Russian-made Sputnik 5, they have reported that trial are at about 92% efficient. What does this mean for the fight against COVID-19? Remember, even Kenya, it has been working with Oxford University to try and develop a vaccine to deal with the pandemic. Where are we in terms of success? Tonight, we're talking to KEMRI. This is Kenya Medical Research Institute. It is one of the most successful research institutions in Africa. It is at the forefront of many research vaccine trials, from HIV to tuberculosis, among many others. I'm talking to the Director General, Professor Yeri Kombe. Stay right here for that interview. It's coming up next. Thank you for your time. My name is Obrien Kimani. Good night.
A very good evening to you wherever you're watching us from. It is that time again where I give you your Channel 1 weather updates. My name is Yusuf Farah. Now, rainfall is expected again tonight in areas of the southern half of the country, with strong easterly winds expected over areas of Marsabit. Eldoret residents, remember to keep warm tonight because your area is the coldest, with temperatures dropping to a low 11 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow morning, this is what we are waking up to, a warm morning from the northeastern region where sunny intervals dominate the area. Mombasa, Kilifi, Kwale and Lamu will wake up to showers with sunny intervals. Areas of Kisumu will have light rains in the morning, accompanied by sunny intervals. Areas of Lodwar to the Lake Turkana Basin will be looking at sunny intervals in the morning. Let's take a look at how the afternoon looks tomorrow. And Kisumu, Kericho and Kisii will be having rains accompanied by thunderstorms, and areas of Mombasa, Malindi and Kwale in the coastal region will still be having showers accompanied by sunny intervals. The northeastern region, sunny intervals again, and areas of Lodwar and areas bordering Kenya and South Sudan will be having sunny intervals as well. Taking a look at your temperatures now, and Garissa will be having highs of 37, lows of 24, Lamu highs of 33, lows of 27, and Mombasa highs of 31 and lows of 25. That wraps up your local weather forecast. Again, many thanks for keeping it Channel 1. My name is Yusuf Farah. Have yourself a lovely night. Here now is your international weather forecast.